Good morning. This is X-Pulse AI Morning Mix. I'm Iris, and today is Wednesday, March 4th. We're talking a record venture capital month dominated by OpenAI and Anthropic, Google pushing Gemini into faster models and real app actions, and fresh signal on infrastructure and government AI contracts. Orion, you in?
I'm in. Let's move.
TechCrunch reported on March 3rd that global venture investment hit $189 billion in February, and AI startups pulled in $171 billion of it. What's going on?
The headline is concentration. Crunchbase data, via TechCrunch, says roughly 90% of all February venture dollars went to AI. And three companies, OpenAI, Anthropic, and Waymo, accounted for 83% of the capital raised. That's OpenAI at $110 billion, Anthropic at $30 billion, Waymo at $16 billion.
$110 billion? Does that change the competitive landscape immediately?
It changes the tempo. With that kind of war chest, you can pre-buy compute, hire aggressively, and subsidize pricing to win developers. It also pressures everyone else, either specialize, go open, or partner with a platform that can bankroll the infrastructure burn.
And for listeners trying to read the tea leaves, signal or bubble?
Both can be true. The signal is that serious capital believes AI is now core infrastructure. The risk is that when funding gets this lopsided, the market starts rewarding scale over discipline. Even my spreadsheet needed a nap.
Google, on its blog on March 3rd, introduced Gemini 3.1 Flash-Lite in preview, calling it the fastest and most cost-efficient Gemini 3 model. What did they actually ship?
It's a new model tier rolling out via the Gemini API in Google AI Studio and via Vertex AI for enterprises. Google is leaning hard on price and speed, 25 cents per 1 million input tokens and $1.50 per 1 million output tokens.
Does Google claim meaningful speed gains, or is this mostly a pricing move?
They claim both, faster time to first token and higher output speed versus Gemini 2.5 Flash, citing artificial analysis. The practical angle is simple. Cheaper fast models unlock more agent-like workflows where you're calling the model constantly, routing, summarizing, checking, and retrying.
Who's the ideal user for Flash-Lite?
High-volume, latency-sensitive apps support triage, real-time classification, extraction, and good enough drafting at scale. You'd pair it with a stronger model for the hard cases, so your expensive calls are the exception, not the default.
On March 3rd, The Verge said Google's March Pixel Drop adds Gemini agentic actions inside apps, like ordering food or booking rides, with user supervision. What's new here?
Google is pushing Gemini beyond chat and into task completion inside select apps, including Uber and Grubhub, starting on Pixel 10 devices. The key detail is the supervision model. You can watch, interrupt, or stop the agent as it steps through the app flow.
Is this a real agent or fancy shortcuts?
It's closer to an assisted operator than a fully autonomous agent. But it's meaningful because it normalizes the interface. The model translates intent into app actions. Once users trust that loop, more sensitive actions, payments, account changes become the next battleground.
What's the catch for consumers?
Two catches: permissions and accountability. If the agent makes a wrong turn, who owns the error, user, app, or model? Also, apps may fight for control of the experience. Nobody wants their checkout flow narrated by a robot with confidence.
Forbes reported on March 2nd that Google's data center buildout could top $1 trillion over the next decade, tied to comments from its new AI infrastructure chief, Amin Vahdat. What should we take from that?
The important part is the direction, not the exact decade total. Vahdat described a significant investment plan in data centers, and Forbes connects it to guidance that Google could spend up to roughly $185 billion in AI-related capital expenditures in 2026.
$185 billion in a single year is wild. What does that buy?
Power, land, chips, networking, and redundancy, plus the ability to serve models at global scale with lower latency. It also buys optionality. You can run frontier training, host enterprise workloads, and support consumer products like Gemini with fewer bottlenecks.
Does this tilt the market toward the hyperscalers even more?
Yes. If AI is compute plus distribution, the biggest cloud players can win by default, unless a new stack shift lands, like dramatically better efficiency or new hardware interconnect breakthroughs. But right now, scale is the moat.
Reuters reported on March 2nd that U.S. agencies are moving to stop using Anthropic's Claude and switch to rivals, including OpenAI, following an order from President Donald Trump to cancel Anthropic contracts. What do we know?
Reuters says the State Department, Treasury, and Health and Human Services directed staff to stop using Anthropic products. State's internal chatbot, StateChat, is switching to OpenAI's GPT 4.1 model. HHS told staff to use alternatives such as OpenAI and Google models.
Is this about performance, politics, or policy?
Policy and procurement power. Reuters ties it to a dispute over safeguards for military use and a broader federal phase-out across parts of government. Whatever the merits, it shows how quickly approved model lists can change and how strategic government distribution can be.
What's the broader implication for labs selling into government?
You need contract language, auditability, and clear boundaries on allowed use cases. The model is only half the product. Compliance posture is the other half. And once the switch flips, it's hard to win that seat back.
Financial Times reported on March 2nd that NVIDIA-backed Reflection AI is courting investors for at least $2 billion at a valuation above $20 billion. Orion, what's the news first?
The news is the size and positioning. They're discussing a major raise, $2 billion or more, at $20 billion plus, with prospective investors reportedly including Sequoia and Lightspeed, plus other backers and sovereign wealth funds. The pitch is open. Large language models developers can download and modify.
And quick background, what is Reflection AI in plain English?
A startup founded by former Google DeepMind researchers aiming to build high-end language models that aren't locked behind a single vendor's API. The open angle is about control. Companies can run models on their own infrastructure, customize them, and reduce dependence on a single provider's pricing or policies.
Why would investors pay $20 billion plus for open right now?
Because open can become the default layer across clouds, hardware, and enterprise stacks if the models are competitive. If they're good enough, distribution can come from partners, not just a consumer app. But the bar is brutal. Training costs are enormous, and the incumbents move fast.
A few more to keep on your radar. IR Labs announced a big round, and Stripe is teasing billing tooling for AI apps. Start with IR. What happened, and what do they build?
On March 3rd, IR Labs said it closed a $500 million Series E, valuing the company at $3.75 billion, led by Neuberger Berman, with new investors including Insight Partners and Qatar Investment Authority. They build co-packaged optics, basically faster, more efficient connections between chips in AI data centers.
Staying with the how do we pay for all this theme, TechCrunch on March 2nd said Stripe is previewing a billing feature for token costs. What's the angle?
Stripe wants AI apps to track model usage across providers, map it to token pricing, then pass through costs, optionally with a markup. That's useful when agentic systems have spiky usage. It's also a sign token billing is becoming a first-class business primitive, like metered cloud compute.
On the commerce side, CIO.com on March 4th points to agentic payments getting closer to mainstream, and Engadget on March 3rd says Meta is testing an AI shopping assistant on the web, plus a new benchmark and a new wearable chip.
Right, CIO.com frames a shift where agents initiate purchases, raising security and brand control concerns. Meta's tool is more guided discovery, product carousels and links, no in-chat checkout. On March 2nd, an Arxiv paper introduced Pencil Puzzle Bench, showing big gains from agentic self-checking. And The Verge on March 2nd says Qualcomm's Snapdragon Wear Elite targets compact AI wearables with on-device NPU muscle.
That's the mix. Venture money concentrating into a few giants, Google pushing cheaper, faster models and supervised in-app actions, infrastructure spending heading toward mind-bending scale, and government procurement reshaping which models get used. If you know a coworker tracking AI strategy, send them this episode. It'll save them an hour of tabs.
The through line is control of compute, distribution, and policy. See you tomorrow.
From XPulse AI Morning Mix, I'm Iris. Thanks for listening and have a great Wednesday.